Now we are live.
We
Awesome.
are. Yes, we made it.
Indeed. Hello, Kalpana.
Hey, Kaidi. Hi.
I'm so honored to have talked with you here in Estonia. And
Mm,
all the conversation we have today, we translate it to Estonian. So people, you find the Estonian link. Kristi will put it here in comments. And just so awesome. So Kalpana, mm, you are amazing person. I know you already 8 years, I think. The same
wow.
time Access or
Yeah,
Business.
yeah, 8 years. Wow. Yeah, or 7, I would say, actually. 7 years. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you have been so and growing and expanding so much worldwide. And I'm watching your success. I'm watching your awareness growing. I'm watching your magic growing. And now I'm talking to you live for Estonian people. So can you talk about yourself a little bit? Who are you, where you live, what you do, and why you are doing all this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Hi, guys. Hi, Kaidi. Thank you for having me in this lovely conversation. So I live in Belgium, in Brussels, and I also have a dance company. So when I started Access, I was dancing and creating performances. I'm a choreographer, and Access came my way, and I was like, this is so cool and amazing. And I just went with it. And we met at the beginning when I think it was my first COPs when I met you. And since then I thought it was for myself, but I was so excited. I wanted everybody, like you have that too, like you want everybody to know the tools. And I always kept my dance going. It was both. And basically from there I just started to play, and I have, because of my dance, I would say I'm very much used to creating and working with people. And so the kind of all of that really fed me. And my Access stuff fed my dance stuff, and dance stuff feed my Access stuff. So it's all like a dance. And over the years, basically, I have started to grow and travel more, and really, really enjoy traveling. I was always traveling a lot for dance, and now I travel more for Access. And meanwhile, I was first like an independent choreographer, but now I have my own company, and I have a staff, and I have really, like, we are doing a lot of work. So it's really a full life because of the dance and the Access. And I'm married. My husband is from West Africa, and so we're both like gypsies going everywhere in the world. And now with COVID, less, but we don't stop creating. So yeah.
You are from India, but you live
Yes.
in Brussels and worked in Netherlands and worldwide. You are like worldwide citizen.
Yes, I my parents are in South Indian, and I was born in the Netherlands, and then I moved to Belgium when I met my husband, who lived in France, and we said let's move to the middle. So it's very international. Yes, I've
Yeah.
actually always traveled a lot since I'm young. Also go to India every year, so I'm still also very much connected to India, and a lot through the dance, but also just through the country. So yes.
Awesome. And
Mm.
and you definitely know something about bodies. You're gonna have in couple of days, awesome class called You and Your Weight.
Yes.
And 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 you know about body something and about body's weight and many things probably about bodies. But what do you know about bodies?
Well, actually, a lot of what I know about bodies, I didn't know I knew it. And when I started to access, I started to realize, oh, yes, this is where I function from, or this is what I was aware of. And so I really started to get more awareness of what I had available to me, because my mother had a dance school. I learned dance from my mom. She was performing when I was in her stomach. So she was always busy with dancers and people with bodies. So being busy with bodies is something that I know a lot. Um, and there is this, it's kind of like where I've become very used to be more talking to the body than to the mind of a person. And so I can kind of catch quickly stuff because I'm actually more aware of the body than of the mind. So it's really interesting and fun how I engage with people.
And this is
Also,
I remember when we had at the master class where it was with a session, and I still remember it. Such a contribution you are for my body. I have
mm,
always also had like body shows me everything, what
yes,
where to go, what to do, and so on. So this is kind of I know what you're talking about. My body
yeah,
gets so excited the same moment about it.
recognizes it. Your body's like that one. Yeah, yeah. And also with the dance scene, we are busy with bodies, but the dancers we are all really taught to judge our body. Like judgment is the only way to create something, which is, of course, a big fat lie. And so the you and your weight class really came because I was hearing all these people like busy with their shape and their form of their body and judging it so much. And then I became a 3-day body class facilitator last year, January, and I started to facilitate a lot of body classes, and all of that was like coming all the time. This fighting with what the body looks like, and this idea that your body has to look different. And I was really like, this has to stop. This is bullshit. Like the body is such a gift, and yet we can only look at what's wrong with it. And so this is really how this class came, that I was like, okay, time for something different. Yeah.
You said in at your webpage when you put up the class that weight is a subject that is up for many people and is something that sticks a lot of people. How do you see yourself? You asking. How much have you learned to see yourself through the eyes of others? That's so great question. So and what is it? What is there? What you know about this? And what can you
It's
hear?
Yeah, I mean, it's also like we have learned we're so aware, right? We're aware, and we use a lot of times the awareness, what other people are expecting from us or where they're functioning from, to adjust ourselves and to deliver what they desire from us. But
Yeah.
then how much do we actually all the time twist and turn ourselves into something else to give what they want, instead of having the awareness? Oh, you think I'm skinny? Oh, you think I'm fat? You think I'm short? Okay. And not respond to it physically. I think we have very great capacities with the body. We are amazing creators of our bodies, and seeing ourselves through the eyes of others is where you're never actually being with yourself, because you cannot have access to yourself. We've literally learned to always, it's like you always have to enter your house through the back door or through the roof. You cannot just be in your house. You always have another way. And this conversation on like, hey, how do you see yourself? Do you actually see yourself? Or are you always seeing yourself through all these masks and projections and judgments? What if you take them all away? What is then actually available?
And also the other thing, what you asked there, uh,
Mm,
how much we how much we judge a book by its cover. So it's really when people watch,
yeah.
for example, heaven or the sky or the tree, or they look and see only how it's like the face of it.
Physical. Yeah. Yeah.
You are pretty or ugly or you're fat or thin, and never see further behind.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean, and how much more can this? I mean, really, when we get aware, there is so much more than just the cover.
Exactly. Exactly. And we have learned that all the time we're like, oh, ugly, pretty, fat, thin, blah, blah, tall. We're all the time like judgment machines, only looking at the cover. And so we are doing it to ourselves also. And it's like, but what's behind and what's available and what beautiful energies are there and what can that person bring and be that we're not even allowing ourselves to see, because we can only see this, you know, image of this. It's not real. And I'm just, as you were talking, I was remembering when I was young, I had a dancer who was my favorite Indian dancer. She was like, I would go to see all her shows when I was in India. And when she would start the show, she would be kind of plain. She would just be. you know. And then as she started to dance, she started to sweat, and she would just become more and more beautiful for me, because it was like her movement, she was showing herself. And I would literally see her from the first minute she started, and then in like 1.5 minutes it would be like so much more is available. And I would always be amazed at how she was getting more beautiful as she was more engaging, right? And it's somehow, I had to think of that when you spoke, because we're not even allowing that more engagement and looking beyond, because we then dismiss people and we put them in the box, and then that's it. And then we do that with ourselves as well. And it's really very unfriendly and super unkind what we do when we do that.
And I know also that how many I have like grown up in area where people just judge to me what I'm doing, what is
Yeah.
acceptable, and how I'm looking. I'm
Yeah.
look like too
Yeah.
not sexy, not too pretty. You have to be average, you know. And I've always been like, okay, I do everything to be average, but I couldn't hide it. And
It's still not working.
and when I'm at Access, I was like, I shine everywhere. And
Wow.
when I look at you, all your energies comes out and like inviting me to be more even. And that's the beauty of it. When I be more of me, then you
Yeah.
can be you and gifting and receiving at the same time. And whatever I'm enjoying, however I look like, who cares? I'm
Exactly.
and that's the beauty of all the weight and the body and everything I be. And
Exactly.
oh,
Exactly. Yeah, really. Bah. And it's like
this energy.
people really, really take this, what people put on them, like what you said, like they just see me like this. It's like a big luggage, that they have to carry with them, like a baggage, with like a weight, really, that allows them to not really be there shining, because it's like all these stories and all this stuff. And what I really found big in the topic of the weight and the body shape and the body size is, in Access we say, what if it's your judgments that create your body?
Yeah.
And I really see very much in this conversation about the weight, where we have learned that if you don't eat the right food, if you don't do the right movements, like you have to do exercise, it's a very superficial way of looking at the body. Uh, and there are actually so many deeper conversations and awarenesses to get if you look into the topic of weight. So this class is actually, every time I'm like, I'm super mind blown to see how many deeper energies are playing that are showing through the body. And we think, oh no, no, just change, you don't eat gluten, don't eat sugar, oh no, just go to the gym every week. And it's like such a superficial treatment of something that is so much more profound. And when we are willing to be present and vulnerable with that, it's like, wow, like you have like literally a different body.
Yeah. So you're gonna have online class. It's 4 hour class.
Yes.
It will be translated in so many different languages. And what is this class about?
So it's really about how you are having your relationship with your body, and how much your weight is kind of this topic in your life, or your body size, or your body shape. And it's called you and your weight, because it's also like getting clarity of, hey, what is actually true, what would you like to create with your body, and what if all those stories of how you should look like, what your mother told you, what your friends showed you, all of that is not anymore relevant, and you can choose something different. So we really look at the energies behind how you have been with your body and your body weight, and how you show yourself, and what you can change and undo to actually start to create a different conversation with your body, and that can create a different weight. But you, in a way, it's like where we get over this obsession about what we have to look like to be happy, that there's this right weight and this right way to look, and then I'll make it, which is like a total judgment party, not a party, right? So we really get out of that to get into the space of, hey, oh. And I've had so much feedback about this class from people, because I've really had people say, I have been always judging my weight every morning, and I start to see that I can choose something different. I can start to see that my body has so much more to give to me than the story of how I look. I lost Katie, or Katie lost me. Oh, you're here. Yes, cool. Cool, cool, cool. And so it's really like a vulnerability, 4 hours of vulnerability, but also very powerful conversations about like you said, what the fuck, who cares? What, like it's not about that, but it becomes such a, people are struggling so much with this part, and it keeps
Yeah,
them from a lot of gifts and a lot of joy and a lot of
yeah.
peace.
I see the world often. I went to theater yesterday.
Yeah,
I watched the people who was on the scene, how much they are just everything they be with their bodies and movements and the speak and the voice and all the energies they be there. And I also seen that people love to see the vulnerability. They love to see it around us, but not so gladly choosing to be themselves.
exactly.
So they're pushing.
Exactly.
We love to see over there. Oh, over there. Oh, I love
Yeah,
this.
far
I love
far
that.
away, far away.
But and this judgment, it can be there. It can be there, but not here. So, what is
Exactly.
your recommendation? What is the maybe just small tips how to change that?
Well, also really like, what have you decided about yourself that you cannot show? If you get attracted and kind of turned on when you see that far away, where have you decided that that far away can only stay far away? And what is like, oh, but if I like that, what lie did I buy that I cannot choose it myself? And who can I inspire? Just like I'm getting inspired by the person, but I want it to be so far away. Who can I inspire? And Sixten just writes, I've put so much stuff in front of me for people to see me different, but not as I truly be. And so it's really like, how much longer are we going to be pretending? How much longer are we going to be making it about something that doesn't give us the joy? And so it's a bit like, it can feel intense to be vulnerable, right? We know that one. And yet what you're going to get out of it is so much more than the pretense game that we've been playing and learned to play.
Yeah. And pretense, exactly the pretense.
Yeah, yeah, it's totally that.
And
Yeah,
and I asked yesterday the question, okay, so many people choose to pretend because it's easier. We have learned it, and it's so much easier to just be with the body and just
well,
not being.
we've learned that it's easier, but it's actually not.
Because I know.
Right? Right? It's like, no, 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 it's easier to walk on your hands. And like, it's like we're all walking on our hands and going, gosh, walking is hard. My arms are hurting. And it's like, you could also walk on your legs and then see things in a different perspective. And it's this lie that it's easier to pretend, it's easier to not be vulnerable, it's safer to keep people away from you and to not relax into your body, that actually keeps you from possibilities.
Totally, totally,
Yeah.
totally. And your class is coming on 14th of October,
Yes,
uh,
Wednesday. On
and
Wednesday. Yeah.
Estonia time 15 until 19. And
Yes.
I put it here, the link. So I created
Great.
an easy registration link
Super.
so you
Yeah.
can find it and register.
Amazing.
So I'm just asking, I'm really excited because how much this can change for me, for the world. How much can
Yeah.
I be and receive from this
Yeah. Yeah.
and from everybody who's participating? I mean, we are such a
Yeah.
bodies. We have such a gift with bodies to everybody. We're really gifts. And even this is a gift when like when people still hide. I can see them anyway. And
Exactly.
I have seen this that when I see them, what they don't allow them to see.
Yeah.
And for those people, what I see and I be with them the way they really love that people would be with them.
Yeah.
See how much everything is like all the judgments and all the barriers and all this
Yeah.
like heavy stuff is just falling down. Like, oh,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
and some people also don't, it's like scary for them when, to see themselves. And sometimes it's not the time yet. So, I mean, people know when it's time for you.
Exactly. It totally is. And it's like for me, I was also like with all the Corona COVID craziness that's going on, it's like for me such a great moment to go because it's really a class where we go deeper and like you said, become vulnerable with ourselves and dig deeper. And it's like what a great time to do that with all the craziness. It's like, okay, whatever. I'm going to look at me. I'm going to find a new space with me and my body. So I find that a beautiful moment in time to do that. The class has no prereqs, which also allows people who don't have an Access Bars class or who don't even know Access to come. I've had quite a lot of people do this class with no Access background, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is so cool! Like, this is a whole new way of looking at weight." And I've tried, all these diets and all these gymnastics, and nothing was working. And suddenly I find a whole different kinder way of being with me. So I just wanted to share that. So it's really open for everybody with a body, basically.
Yes. And like
Yeah,
I say, let's unmask ourselves.
exactly. Exactly. And show the gift, because what you were saying was so beautiful. You're like, there's this gift, but we're hiding. And it's like, let's unmask ourselves and be that gift and receive ourselves that gift. And by receiving it, others can also, you're right? We can invite and inspire others to be the gift as well and choose that too.
Totally.
So,
How smart,
yeah.
correct? I am the gift, and suddenly when I acknowledge this, everybody have a gift. It's
Yeah, totally.
easy and simple and smart. Why not to choose it? We like difficult is not modern anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, whoa.
So thank you,
So
Kalpana.
thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so when you watch this and when you ask yourself the question, what will that class contribute for you if you participate? How would your life look like and be like in 5 years when you participate? And if not, how will your life be like in 5 years if not? So
Yeah,
just trust your body. Light is also always light and true for you. Heavy is not,
exactly.
and just choose.
Yeah. And I'm so happy. Thank you, Kaidi, for creating this call and for the translation and for all of you guys on. I'm so grateful for this conversation. And feel free to, you can always ask Kaidi for questions and join us. Let's change this. Let's have freedom and joy with our bodies and with
Yes.
our weight. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
everybody.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.